FP3 is here, and the big news of the day about Alex Albon will be racing in Logan Sargent's car, which is what I think would happen. And I said it in our last podcast that should happen because Alex Albon is a better driver, though he made some mistakes, and that's the same place he had his crash last year. But if a team is looking for points, you can really depend on Alex Albon for that. And even if there's a mistake, you can really depend on the driver that can give you points as a team. So that is why that is. So I know a lot of people are not happy with the decision of the team, but I think if you are in the team principal's shoe, you'll do the same. There are so many news that will come up in our shots, especially with Christian Horner and the Red Bull things and Zach Brown, the new engine for Ferrari, a lot of things. So it will come up in our shots, but let me quickly give you this. The FP3 is there. Overnight, the Mercedes have done what they do. They've tried to understand what is going on with the car, and I told you they fixed the flaw. Now they are still battling with the rear. All 3 years, the rear of the car is not balanced. It's just everywhere. The car is just gallivanting everywhere on the rear, which they had issues with because they had a different setup for Lewis Hamilton. Now they said they've worked on it, and in FP3 we can see a lot of improvement on what they said they've worked on. And that flaw, like I said, they still need to tweak it because it's a flaw that they used in testing. They've not tweaked it. They just brought a new flaw. And I think the person serving them different condiments in which they are taking will keep looking at it now and know that he's been the one behind Mercedes' problem. But I think Mercedes should open their eyes and not allow somebody else to get them off. Immediately they reverted. Lewis Hamilton commented on that flaw that is better. It's a better flaw, but they're still having problems with the corner, and that has to do with the rear because the grappling issue is still there. Now the Ferraris are looking strong, and I tip, it's posted on my IG page and on my WhatsApp page, that I'm tipping Charles Leclerc for the pole position, and for the race win I'm seeing 2 Ferraris, 1 Red Bull. Possibly for race win 2 Ferraris, 1 Red Bull, but for qualifying Charles Leclerc for pole position. And I'm seeing this race very, very difficult for Red Bull. If the Ferraris can use the race pace that we see they have, if they can maximize that race pace, I am seeing a win for Ferrari, and I'm seeing a pole for Charles Leclerc and possibly front row for the Ferrari team. The FP3, the Ferrari didn't disappoint. They really came out on the medium tires. Carlos Sainz really did a decent job setting the fastest pace for like 30 minutes or more, in which he did on the medium tires. And from what we are looking at, the medium tires look better, are more stronger, are more durable than the soft tire. And he's taking these drivers like 2-3 laps, get temperature in to rubber the tire on the track, because that track is less abrasive. So it's unlike the 2 tracks they've run on, which are more abrasive, a little bit more abrasive. So you can use your tires more, and I think this should be a one-stop race in Australia. And I am looking at how these guys will be able to get this thing done and make it look professional. And professional in the sense that the Ferrari can really come up with a strategy to light up the tires as quickly as possible. They will be on and very, very on. And though it will be, the pole position will be between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, but maybe Mercedes might come into play because they look better. But that rear is still a lot of issue for the Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton looks more confident in the car today, but like I said, the rear is still a concern. They've improved on it overnight, but it still look untied. If they can do some quite sensible job on it before the qualifying and before the race, I'm not sure they'll be able to do anything because those cars are going to park for me. After FP3, they can only do some little tweaks on it. And the upgrade Ferrari brought are working. They're really working. Like I said, the medium tires look better. It takes time to rubber in them, the soft tire, to get them quality laps on it. On others, the McLaren looks a little bit tough, but not as pacey. Especially, Albert Park is an hybrid track. You can only get 1 or 2 sectors right if you are good as a driver. You can't get all the 3 sectors right. You can't get all purple sectors or 3 sectors. So you have to sacrifice 1 sector for the other. And I can see that the Red Bulls are having issues on the high speed sector. They are losing time. The Mercedes are losing time on the straight lines. They are losing about 7/10 to the Ferrari majorly. The Red Bulls are losing time on the high speed corners, while the crosswind is also giving an effect to the car. So this will be so very interesting in the qualifying. And like I said, I hope for a great qualifying, and I can see the Ferrari starting pole and possibly winning the race. So up in for the qualifying as we go into qualifying, this is getting much more interesting. I think this will be one of the best races this season because Melbourne is always giving us surprises, and I know this race will not shut off surprises, and it's going to be hot. So watch out for FP3. I love you guys. Yes, the qualifying. This is one of the best qualifyings of the season. For now, it's one of the best, and I can tell you, Bahrain was close, but this was much closer between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. And in race pace, Red Bull are already afraid because they know that they don't have the race pace. But the best thing is they can nick the pole position, and on this track, it's possible for the person on the cleaner side of the track to to go ahead of the leader. So track position does not matter, which means it is possible that Carlos Sainz gets hold of the first position from turn 1 tomorrow. And I can tell you it's going to be very interesting. Now, Q1, unfortunately, Logan Sargent cannot start the race. Max Verstappen took a new power unit, and Alex Albon, driving Logan Sargent's car, he also took a new power unit. So we have Hülkenberg, Gasly, Ricciardo, Zhou Guanyu out. Ricciardo was out because of a track limit, but we can see the Ferrari nicking it clean and tidy with Red Bull. Also McLaren doing their bits to make sure we see that they are in the pace. But in Q2, we have Ferrari keeping the pace up, doing their best. See, the Ferrari is very balanced. It's even more balanced than the Red Bull on this track. I can tell you, the Ferrari is more balanced. And I said it in the beginning that I believe Ferrari would take the pole position. And that almost happened, but it's of their own fault that they're out of pole. But the Ferrari is so balanced. Even Max Verstappen was complaining of the balance in front of his own Red Bull. The Red Bulls are having understeer, but the Ferrari are so balanced. The rear, the front, gripping and so fast. Now, the advantage the Red Bulls are having is on the straight against the Ferrari. But on the medium speed corners and the slow speed corners, the Ferrari are off it. Also, the Ferrari on the high speed, they still have an advantage if they are in DRS and if they can defend with their batteries charged. They have a good advantage. Now, in Q2, the surprise of the day, Lewis Hamilton out. He was sprung out by Yuki Tsunoda. I kept on saying it. The rear of the Mercedes is rubbish. Yes, George Russell can drive it better, but you know, they are running on different setup because they are still experimenting. But that rear is rubbish, pure rubbish. He lost all the grip. He was unable to hold on to the grip of the car. So Lewis Hamilton 11, Alex Albon 12, Valtteri Bottas 13, Kevin Magnussen 14, and Esteban Ocon 15. Lewis Hamilton out. Lewis Hamilton out. They will be scratching their head at the Mercedes thinking of what they've done wrong, because the only thing they've done wrong, they've brought a car that they are just learning about, because all those things they thought they were learning before were all rubbish. Now they just started learning. Just a year out of a new technical regulation year, they are just learning a car. Well done, Mercedes. Like I said, the person supplying you at Mercedes, the Igbo you guys are smoking, keep paying him and he keeps giving you rubbish. Now, going into Q3, I will just talk about 3 teams here: Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren. These teams were so superb. Max Verstappen was able to nick out the right time, get the Ferraris off their ledge. And well done, big ups to Carlos Sainz, coming from an operation, just 12 weeks out of an operation, and he's doing a fantastic job in that team. He came second, and Charles Leclerc, of his own fault, he could have nicked the pole position, but he's starting 5th. So we have Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Sergio Perez. Then we have Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, just like that. So we have McLaren doing their bit, and the Mercedes will not be able to hold on to McLaren on this track. So Mercedes are still the 4th or the 5th best team here, which is not a surprise. Aston Martin to show their pace, and they show that they are out there to do something great. So all a pity, but tomorrow I believe the Ferrari are in the race, also with the Red Bull. They are closely tied in this race. Like I said, 2 Ferraris on the podium and 1 Red Bull. But the position, I don't know, but I can see 2 Ferraris. I'm not a prophet, please. I can see 2 Ferraris on the podium and a Red Bull. It's going to be a very interesting race. It's going to worth your sleep from the beginning of the race to the end of the race, from the top to the low. The 2 teams battling themselves, Red Bull and Ferrari. It's going to be a tight race, and you are going to love it. Up until the race tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye.